I wasn't supposed to have a season. I was told that I'd be out for 12 months. And that 12 months came up to the day of Nationals.
After a disappointing end to his rookie season and another year lost to the COVID-19 pandemic, USask long jumper Michael Akintunde had big plans for 2022. But a serious knee injury spoiled those plans, not only ending that season prematurely, but threatening the next one too. Akintunde had other ideas.
I wasn't supposed to compete, and I was working towards the goal of my own personal goal of trying to beat that 12-month time clock, see if I could shorten it to like 9 or 10 maybe, so I can squeak in a season.
Probably in late November, early December, physiotherapist Ainsley Oliver was kind of calling me down for some meetings, doing some assessments and going, you know what, we're ahead of schedule, things are looking well.
Right around the time the season started, things picked up really, really fast. I was able to do so much more, so much faster, and I started to get much stronger. I would say like my focus shifted, because that January time is when the season really progresses, and I was like, okay, well, people are going, and here I am still working on walking and things of the sort.
Mike did his homework, he did his prehab, he did his rehab, he did the things that, you know, Ainsley Oliver asked him to do. And when an athlete's doing great and improving and still able to hit those checks that we're looking for, you know, it became a reality in that, you know, kind of mid-January, and then it became, well, let's just say we all raised our expectations heading into conference and everything after that.
A season once in danger of being lost entirely was suddenly full of promise. And just a few weeks later, at the Canada West Championships, he removed all doubt, winning gold and breaking a 50-year-old Huskies record.
Based on the injury, we were quite surprised that he did as well as he did. Based on his mental makeup, not so much. Had he not been injured, I would have had him pegged for these numbers a little bit earlier, but to come back from that injury and to jump them so early was a big surprise, yeah.
Akintunde was just getting started. Next up, the National Championships, on his home track, no less.
At my last attempt, I came down to it, and I was just a little bit tentative with my takeoff and on the board and my spacing and things like that. And I remember asking coach if he'd let me move in. And reason being that if I moved in, it was either I missed it by a huge margin, or I had to be aggressive enough to take it. And that's what I was hoping for. I didn't want to leave anything on the board, so I was like, all right, and he let me do it. And I was able to put a really nice jump together, and it felt okay. And yeah, that's how I won that. At home, that one was special, because I remember at the comp, I personally had my own fan section with my brother, my friends, some other athletes, Husky athletes on my team, some cousins, friends and family that were all up on like the top row of the bleachers. And they were all so excited for me. Typically when I compete, I have tunnel vision, but I could hear them. And that was special for me. As far as what this does for me now, I think it really sets me up to take my first step into the next stage. Being able to, yes, solidify my position in youth sports, but also take it to the higher heights of like competing against the best in the world, pro athletes, things of the sort, and moving on from there. My bigger goals are set towards like the Pan American team. That one I think would be a great experience for me. It would give me a chance to meet some higher level competition and really get to understand the work it takes to be consistent at that level. There's a world's team that would be phenomenal to be a part of. I think this outdoor season, I've got some special things to show people, and if things go well, I think I have a decent chance of making that team as well.
He's put himself into where the pathway is real, and by that, you know, the senior echelon of sport performance, World Championships, Olympic Games, Commonwealth Games, Pan American Games, those opportunities are really kind of start around 790, 8 meters.
I would like to clear that 8-meter barrier. That's a big one for me, and I'm hoping by doing so, that would put me in the position to be on those teams and in those environments and atmospheres that I crave so much.
I think he definitely has the potential for it, and in the last little bit here, since the injury actually, he became a lot more serious about it, and he does a lot of research on his own, and so he'll send me a video of a guy jumping, and we'll talk some technical things where we wouldn't have been able to do that before. But now that he's kind of like committed to it, I think he can go far.
There hasn't been a Canadian jumper in like 30-ish years to compete on the Olympic stage, in the Olympic final, on the big stage. And I hopefully plan to change that conversation and increase the presence of jumps in Canada.
Long jump has been a little bit of an event that Canadian athletes and Canadian coaches have been trying to figure out, and maybe Mike's going to be the success story of the 2020s.
Now, as long as he can stay healthy, we can just keep on getting a little bit faster, a little bit stronger, work on some technical things, because he's still, as much as he's been a good long jumper and his distances are good, there's still a lot of technical work that he can do, which is awesome. It's not like he's tapped out in that regard. If he was doing everything perfectly, you might be sitting there going as a coach, like, what do we do next? But there's still a lot of things that we can delve into.
And as he takes what he's learned over the last year into a busy summer of competition, a future in Canadian colors looks like more than a leap of faith.
The lesson that I've learned out of this is typically it comes when it's time to come. So as long as I stay diligent and I keep working, I'll hit the numbers in their time, and they should yield fruitful for me. You need to remember, like, hey, I spent the last so and so many years doing this sport, months doing this sport, coaches poured in all this knowledge and practice into me, so I just have to trust what I'm doing. And I think getting there is that, just step by step. Like, the ladder is in front of you, so you just gotta climb it.